Hi everyone, I'm Krista McNamara, Content Channel Director with ABRN Magazine. So consolidation is a very hot button term today that we hear tossed around quite often in the collision repair industry. But what does consolidation really mean for the industry? Well, Brad Mewes is going to help shine a little light on that for us. He's a shop management consultant and author of the blog Supplement Financial Insight for the Automotive Industry Professional. He uses his weekly blog to focus on business, finance, and corporate strategy, but all geared toward the collision repair shop. So, Brad, you took a closer look at consolidation in the industry. What are some of the insights that you came away with?
So consolidation is very interesting in the collision industry, and I think actually one of the most interesting things is that it's not unique just to collision. That there's a lot of consolidations going on in a lot of different industries, and so I think it's important to really drill down and look at some of the detail of how consolidation is growing through the industry. One of the things I did is I took all of the transactions that were publicly announced over the past 2 years and put them into a spreadsheet and plotted them on a map of the United States and created a time sequence to see, okay, well, so how is consolidation actually rolling out in this industry? And I found a couple of things that immediately caught my attention. The first one, and this probably isn't much of a surprise to many people, but consolidation is really taking place in large metropolitan areas. This isn't a surprise. Where there's more population, there's more cars to fix, it's often a much more attractive business proposition. And so you see a lot of acquisition, a lot of buying activity in large metropolitan areas, excuse me. The other thing I noticed is that while we hear a lot about the big consolidators, I call them the big four, the Calibers, Service Kings, the Abras, and the Boyd Gerbers. Consolidator on consolidator competition it's not rare, but it's not prevalent either. And so there is a lot of areas of the country where the consolidators are growing, but they may be the only large national or regional player in that market area. And so I thought that was interesting because I think going forward, that may not be the case. It'll be interesting to see how that changes in the industry. Of course, I don't want to make it sound like all four of these big consolidators are operating on their own. I mean, you look at Texas and Service King and Caliber are both very active in Texas. You look at Arizona, all four companies are very active in Arizona. Florida is another example. Chicago is a hotbed of multiple consolidator activity. But outside of certain key areas, there's a lot of runways, we say. There's a lot of open space where consolidators and large companies are operating with relatively little competition from other large organizations. Mm-hmm. And then, so that leads me to the next thing I noticed is that there's certain swaths of the country that haven't seen much consolidation at all. And the area that immediately pops to mind is the Northeast. So if you look at New York City, perhaps one of the largest metropolitan areas in the country, has seen relatively little consolidation, relatively little buying activity from the big companies in the industry. That may change. It looks like it may be changing. Just recently, it was announced that Keenan's in Philadelphia was acquired. Caliber's been very active in the DC area and Virginia area with the acquisition of Pohanka and Craftsman and just recently Chernin Auto Body. So there's a lot that's going on, and as the industry changes and shifts, it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. And then my two final points that I noticed is, well, one, we always hear about the big deals that are announced, and then I just listed off a couple of them. But the vast majority of acquisition activity in the industry still is the result of smaller 1 or 2 location businesses. The industry is still dominated by smaller 1 or 2 location businesses, and as the larger regional businesses get acquired by the larger, the big nationwide consolidators, it begs the question: so what happens next to the smaller operator who has 1 or 2 or 3 locations, or maybe just has 1 location? and how is that going to play out? Because there's a lot of single location activity in the industry, and I think sometimes we get caught up in these big deals. So, and lastly, there's an increasing trend of the biggest companies in the industry starting to do what's called a brownfield or a greenfield. And what a brownfield or greenfield is, it's a way to grow inorganically, but rather than buying an existing competitor, they're building a repair facility. So a greenfield would be where a company builds from the ground up, from scratch, builds the building to spec to the way that they want in a market area they think is attractive. A brownfield may be where they see maybe an old abandoned building or a vacant building or a former body shop that's no longer a body shop, and they buy that building and refurbish it to meet their needs. So that, while not nearly as prevalent as an acquisition as an industry, is becoming more and more prevalent in certain areas.
Okay, so these four main insights, consolidation is kind of focused more in metropolitan areas. There's some areas that have seen relatively little to no consolidation. The vast amount of consolidations among smaller players, and now also brown and greenfield growth. How can the average shop owner take these four observations and apply them to help spur their own success?
So I'm a big fan of looking at what large successful companies have done in the past and copying them and mimicking them. So what the opportunity for a owner who's looking to, well, whatever option they want to have, whether it be to stay at a single location, kind of stand pat and compete on their own, whether they're looking to grow or looking to sell, the opportunity is to look at what's happening in the industry around them and maybe project forward of what they think may be happening in the future and apply that to their own individual life goals, business goals. And so for a younger operator who's in an area of the country that has seen relatively little consolidation, this may be a fantastic opportunity to grow and build a business in a way that, in a very rapid way. Similarly, for an older operator who's in an area that's under heavy consolidation, this may be an opportunity to say, you know what, there's never been a better time than now to think about, to consider a sell of my business. And so there's looking at what the large companies are doing and the successful companies are doing and applying that to your own individual situation is a way, I believe, that collision repair owners and operators could position themselves for success in an industry.
Great. Well, to learn more and to read the full article, State of the Industry, How Consolidation Impacts Your Business, you can visit abrn.com/bizimpacts, or you can visit Brad's blog directly at sup-co.com. Thank you.